Hello and welcome back to another episode of Movie Thoughts, the podcast where I give you my thoughts on movies and we talk. Well, I talk and you listen, and sometimes I go a little crazy. Maybe I went a little crazy today. I always go a little crazy, right? I mean, so today's episode, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the new animated feature film. Obviously a sequel to 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was a cool, animated movie that showed all these different, dimensional Spider-Mans and introduced our first on-screen version of Miles Morales, right? An alternate Spider-Man that was introduced, I believe, I'm not going to go and get my comic knowledge messed up, but I believe he was introduced in the when they rebooted the Ultimate Spider-Man comic, right? Am I remembering people, Marvel fans, comic enthusiasts who know more than me? Is that when he was introduced, Miles Morales? Probably, right? And then obviously he made his transition to film with the first entry in the series. Now this is a trilogy. This is going to be a trilogy. First things first with this film, because I know they toyed around, I think, with calling Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 or Part whatever the fuck. And I guess it's not, I'm not going to really talk about spoilers, storyline, but this movie does end on a cliffhanger. And I think that's one of those things, like, do you need to know that a movie ends on a cliffhanger? I don't know. It's a conversation to be started there. I mean, expectation of, if a storyline, there's always the argument is like, all right, is this kind of like story not finished? Yeah. Is it going to disappoint some people? I don't know. I mean, it leaves on a cliffhanger, gets you excited, right? I mean, another movie that recently left on a cliffhanger that wasn't billed as being left on a cliffhanger was, of course, Fast X, which, if you saw that movie, it ended on this mind-boggling cliffhanger of literally the walls and the water and the bombs closing in on Vin Diesel, on Dominick Toretto. But, like, I personally think he could just fly out of there. He's just going to have the ability to fly in the next movie, and he's just going to leap, and he's going to get out of that. But yeah, so Across the Spider-Verse does end on a cliffhanger, which, just expect it. And it's one of those things, because when you're looking at, like, this movie's about 2 hours and 20 minutes, I believe. Maybe a little shorter, minus the credits and stuff. But, like, when you're noticing that there's a lot left to be done, and you're getting to, like, the 2-hour mark, and you're like, all right, there's, they're going to fucking close this off, and then, of course, to be continued. But first of all, really fucking cool movie. Just like the first one, really cool movie. I missed the opportunity to see the first one on the big screen. I think it was one of the busy times where I just didn't get a chance to go see it. No, it was COVID, right? Yeah, it was probably smack dead in because 2018, it was kind of smack dead in that COVID-ish time. So, like, I didn't go to the theater. I know I had an opportunity. I remember one distinct day that I had the opportunity to go see it, and I didn't. And it's a movie that, honestly, is really cool. Would have been really cool to see on the big screen, as I see from the second one. But, I own the first one, and I enjoy this movie. It's a fun movie. It's cool. I love all this multiverse shit. I love that it's coming to the films. It's always been something in the comics, whether it's DC and Marvel, where there's different versions of these characters. And it's cool to see it laid out, on film in such a prominent way. Now you had, obviously this Spider-Man No Way Home, The Flash is coming out, which we'll talk about all fucking day, and soon we will when we see it. But it's cool that now it's normal to have this, right? So this movie, first of all, the sequel, it's fucking. Yeah, I'm gonna say shit that people are gonna say and probably have said, right? It's fucking visually. It's fucking crazy, right? It's the animation right from the beginning of this movie. I just love the style of it. It's just, there's so much to take in, right? And I've seen people say, like, oh, see it on the biggest screen and stuff like that. And yeah, see it on the biggest screen. Sit in a nice prominent seat like I did. Sit in the middle. I saw it at an AMC this morning, and I saw it in... I was going to go see it in IMAX, but it wasn't playing till a little bit later, so I chose the Dolby cinema, which is a good alternative. I like to see movies in both formats, but yeah, like just the fucking colors and the animation style and the work that went into this is fucking crazy. I mean, like a little bit long for an animated movie, like, having that feature length, really that 2 hours, 20 minutes, like I said, with credits, a little bit long for an animated movie, but is very, very fast paced. I only bring up it's a little long because, like, there's some kids in the theater and stuff like that, and I don't think, kids really have, younger kids especially, have the attention span to watch, like, let's say a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, even though it's animated. This is why movies like Minions, and even recently with the Super Mario Brothers movie, hour and a half, right? So that's like the hour and 20, hour and a half is a sweet spot for kids. So like for this movie, there's a lot of adult themes in this. I wouldn't even say that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or this one Across the Spider-Verse are particularly, kid movies. Obviously, when you strip everything away, it's a fucking cartoon Spider-Man movie, so there's going to be people that bring their kids. But, it's got very adult themes. Could a kid enjoy it? Yeah, sure. I guess a young kid. This is more like the teenager range, right? And up. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun. As I said, the visuals are really like the meat of what you're watching on the screen. You never, this style, it's really the closest that you would say is like literally a comic book come to life, right? Just as far as like the little pop-up fucking scribes, just like you'd read in the comic that happened, but just really just the action is the epitome of what a comic book is. When you're reading the best comic and you're having fun with it and that's what this feels like, right? It's just so awesome. There's references galore. I'm not going to be, going into all the references, but there's references. I definitely missed a ton. I definitely saw a ton. I missed a ton. And there's so much for Marvel fans in this and Spider-Man fans as well, as far as the alternate versions of Spider-Mans. And they goof on some of them and stuff like that. What is it? I think Andy Samberg was Scarlet Spider, if I'm remembering correctly. And he pops up here and there, and I think he's just funny, as he always is. But there's references to the movies. There's so many references. I'm not going to sit here and give everything away. I don't even know. I mean, I think Scarlet Spidey, people knew he was in there, right? Did I just spoil that? I don't know. I fucked up if I did, but I'm not going to spoil other stuff. But there's cinematic, like live action cinematic references. There's obscure fucking Spider-Man references, and it's all fun. And they just throw so much shit at you. It's a little bit like an overload, right? Of just the visuals, the fucking shit that's going on. A good story, obviously heartfelt. Listen, it's hard with animation to get into those, tug at those heartstrings sometimes, especially towards, a 35-year-old man, or 34. I'm still 34-year-old man like myself, but. I definitely enjoyed a lot of it, right? So Haley Steinfeld is Ghost Spider. You got Shamek Moore as Miles Morales. Daniel Kaluuya is in a small role as Spider-Punk. Jake Johnson returns as Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and a whole slew of cast, right? I mean, like a ton of people. Jason Schwartzman is in here. He's really good. Just everybody, and even just looking at the cast now, like I'm seeing people that I didn't even realize were in here, and maybe they're spoilers, so maybe I'm not going to mention them. But also, fucking Oscar Isaac, great in this movie. I love Oscar Isaac. He's great in this movie. Just he lends his vocal talents to a role in this film, and yeah, what could there's a lot of jumping around through dimensions and stuff like that. Like I said, it's like almost it's a little cocaine infused, right? It's crazy visually. I mean, you're gonna get visually, like, when you walk out of there, you're gonna be like, fuck, man, I just went through a fucking, you're gonna feel like you went through another dimension, because that's how that's how much shit's getting thrown at you. But enjoyable, fully enjoyable. Like I said, 2 hours 20 minutes with credits, but flies by. Doesn't really feel slow. On an unrelated, just angry nerd note, I fucking sit in the theater, right? And I go to a listen. I love going to the theater. I like going on Thursday nights. If my ideal times, if my work schedule allows it, I like going on like a Thursday night when a movie first comes out, because you get the people who really want to see the movie. They want to be the first people to see the movie, right? The Thursday night early screenings. Alternatively, I like to go today on Sunday. I like to go Sunday, like early Sunday. I'm a big fan. My wife, not always a big fan of this, but I'm a big fan of seeing movies like in the AM. Because you got the whole day, especially if it's a longer movie. You know, if you're going to go see Avatar 2 and it's fucking 3 hours, I'd love to see it at 9 in the morning. That's not ideal for some people. I recently went to like early screenings of like Evil Dead Rise, which who doesn't want to start their morning with some coffee and fucking bloody Evil Dead in a high-rise building, right? Deadites running around. But my point is, I like to go early in the morning. It's, with a movie like this, as I said, it's kid-friendly, not so much as a kid's movie. It's not aimed at kids, but it's kid-friendly, so I expected a little bit of kids, right? But I'm sitting in I wouldn't say a filled-up theater. It's probably about maybe 35% of the theater's filled up. And I sat in, like, the seats, one of the seats I always sit in, maybe, like, the fourth row in the middle. My point is, there's plenty of fucking seats around me, right? And now, I have talked about this on the podcast, probably, but, like, I follow the rules of the movie theater, right? I get there on time. I get there before the previews start. I get there way in advance. That's how I am. I like to watch the previews. I get my snack. I know where I'm sitting. Occasionally you run into people who are uninitiated, right? If you're a moviegoer like me and you're always in the fucking theater, you know the rules, right? The rules are the rules and the facts are the facts. That's the cheese tax, if you know that song. But the rules are the rules, right? And there's movie etiquette, and you come into a movie early, you don't fucking know where you're sitting, you prepare. Like, recently I was at that Sebastian movie about my father. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already. But when I was in there, we had the 2 back rows, because I went with my family, and that was what was left, and that was what was together. So we got the 2 back rows, and I like, before the movie started, like, a couple of people walked in, and they were like, it was like, I don't want to say old people, maybe 50-year-olds, 55, a group of them, and they walk in, and like, they walk to our row, which is completely filled up, the both rows. And they're like, huh? And they're looking around, and they're looking, they're scratching their head. Like, this is when, like, the previews just started, too, so now I'm starting to get into movie mode. I want to pay attention. And these motherfuckers are like, oh, where is it? And they're not saying it to us, because I'm ready to be like, yo, here's my tickets. These aren't yours. I'm prepared. But they walk, and they're, like, scratching their head, and they're trying to figure out, and then they're like, oh, we got the front row, I guess. Yeah, that's the front. Like, do you not see this is the problem, like, listen, back in the day, movie theaters, before assigned seats, for the younger listener, maybe you didn't have a world before assigned seats, you had to go in, you had to get there early, get your fucking seat. Growing up, especially in my teenage years, I was very, like, that's maybe what set in stone for me, going to the theater early, getting there early, getting my seat. Now you could be a little loose with it, but it's just, like I said, etiquette. But back in the day, you had to go there, you had to get there early, you had to fucking find a seat. Like, it's not like that anymore. And there's an older generation. I don't want to blame it on the older generation, because I think there's just stubborn people in general of any age group that, like, they want to come into a fucking theater and they just want to sit wherever I've seen a few instances of it. I forgot what movie it was, probably about a year ago, but, like, somebody was, like, from the movie theater was fighting with somebody saying, this is not your seat, this is their seat. And he's like, I want to sit here. Like, it doesn't work like that anymore. For anybody listening, who doesn't know this or needs to pass this knowledge along to their relatives or family or friends, that you go to the fucking theater, you pick your seat. So, like, these people were a little annoying. I mean, they figured it out. I'll give them that. But in the Sebastian movie, like I said, they They were like so confused as to why the two back rows weren't theirs when they had gotten the two front rows. And like when you look and you buy the tickets, they put the fucking screen in the fucking on the map, right? They put it on the map so it shows you where the screen is. This is the screen. These are your fucking seats. Just pay attention. Now, this rant comes with the Spider-Man movie because, listen, I get it. Kids are going to come. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting some kids. You got to take it with a grain of salt sometimes, especially a movie like this. Kids are going to talk and whatnot. But the movie fucking started already. And then, like, it was like two people come in with a kid. And they, like, I ready there. The movie, like, not long into the movie, but at least a few minutes, right? And just getting into it. And, like, these people come in, and they got a little kid who's like, now I start getting into, I don't know how fucking old the kid was, but the kid was walking, but the kid was talking like goo-goos and gagas. So it was a little confusing. I don't know what fucking age it was. Kid was talking like fucking Grogu from The Mandalorian, okay? But was walking. So I don't know. Then I start thinking, all right, maybe this kid, he's a little, they baby him a little much. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to stop bashing the kid. I guess I probably will at some point. But I just get so annoyed because, like, you're coming in late. Then they're trying to, like, walk. Of course, they come in my fucking aisle. I'm sitting there alone. I went solo today. All right, wife wasn't around. So I couldn't drag her to this one. But I went solo. I'm sitting there. And I'm like, please don't fucking come down my row. And, of course, they come down my row. And then they're inching forward. It's like the one adult, then the kid, and then the other adult in back, right? It's like a moron parade. And they're inching down the theater, or my row, rather. And they're like, oh, where are the seats? Wait a minute, where is it? Is it over where D? And they said, like, the number that was, like, a couple away from mine. They were like, D11 or whatever the fuck it was. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, fuck me. And, then they slowly inch, like, it was completely dark at this time because obviously they shut the lights for the movie. And then they start flashing a light to try to see where the seat, and then, like, I don't have patience. Okay, my blood starts boiling. Then the kid, God have mercy, but the kid is just, like, stops in front of my extended, like, I pull in my feet, like, so I had the recliners up, and then I pull in my feet, and, like, I don't pull the recliner back, but I pull my feet up so they're not, like, hitting my feet, and I give them the courtesy, but then, like, the kid stops mid my recliner, and so then, like, I'm holding my feet, and then, like, the parent in front, or whoever it was no better, because they stopped, and so I'm, like, just kind of, like, pulling my feet up. Then the other adult at the end, like, you think, that's the thing, stupid people, unfortunately, have kids and whatever, and then they pass it on to stupid, they pass it on to the kids, and then it's just a multi-generational thing, okay? And, and then the third person, the other adult, like, stops in front of my chair as well, and then, like, hits my feet, like, hits my recliner, and just keeps hitting it, and trying to get through, because I guess they couldn't see where they were going with the dark. And I'm just like, I'm staring at them, and, like, they probably couldn't see my face in the darkness, but I wasn't happy. I was staring at them with a, like, that kind of look. Long story short, though, then, like, they got through finally. I mean, she had the decency at least to say, oh, sorry. Like, after she bumped me 40 times, and I was crouching my feet up, like I was trying to, like, hide from something, and I'm waiting for you to pass, and you don't see this. And then guess where they sit? Right next to me. Like, literally right next to me. And yeah, this is the problem with the movie theater. And listen, I'm always a big supporter of movie theaters, but I understand why people don't go to movie theaters a lot of time. If you don't, choose your hours wisely, as I said, I go on Thursday night, where the true fans are there. I go on a Sunday. I try to avoid a lot of the crowd on Sunday early morning. But you can't go to the movies on a Friday night or Saturday night. I avoid the movies at that time because that's like prime, everybody running around, too many fucking people. And so I understand why people, rather watch something in their houses, more comfortable. You don't have to deal with the talking, you don't have to deal with the bullshit. It is what it is. But So these people sit next to me, and the kid, not so much that I was distracted from the movie, although now I'm talking about this more than I'm talking about the movie. So maybe I'm ruined, okay? But, they sit next to me, and the movie goes on, and, a couple of goo-goos and gagas and whatever the fuck. Yet again, don't know how old this kid, why is he still goo-goo and gaga, but then at one point, like halfway through the movie, and this is what annoys me too, like they didn't seem like they were Spider-Man fans, these people. They seemed like they were there to take the kid, which justifiable, obviously. But like then halfway through the movie, like the kid's getting a little bit, like I see he's getting up, and he's like, he or she, I don't even know, it's fucking dark, and it is getting up and trying to like look over and stuff like that, and at one point they give him like, it looked like a game, like a phone with a game on it, and then he's just playing the game. So, like, why are you people here? That's my whole thing. Like, why are you people here? So, like, for the remainder of the movie, this child just played the game and didn't focus on the movie. So, why are you here? Do you people want to see Spider-Man? Because you don't seem like you're here to watch Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. Why are you here? If the kid's playing the fucking game and he's not paying attention anyway, who gives a shit? And that's kind of, and then the light was like kind of shining. It's towards the end of the movie, so I let it go. And it's a kid. What am I going to do? Am I going to like fight? But I don't know. It's just, you got to have etiquette when you go to the movie. You have to have manners in life. You have to, appreciate the fact that there's other people watching the movie who paid for the movie. And unfortunately, some people just don't understand that. But I guess that's my rant. But other than that, fucking movie was fun. I highly recommend it. Cool because Sony is not always, Sony with their fucking Marvel stuff and what they've done with Spider-Man in the past, not always the best. Then they made fucking Morbius, they're all over the place, right? But like one thing they're getting right, working with the right people is the Spider-Verse movies. They're just great. As I said, great cast. The directors, I know the writers. The writers are Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and a guy named David Callahan, who, they did the Lego movie, they directed 21 Jump Street, and they've done a bunch of stuff, right? They were also, originally attached to the Han Solo movie, which they ended up getting canned for, but a lot of people were saying it was turned into fucking slapstick comedy. Maybe it was for the best, because I like the Han Solo movie for what it is. But who knows? But they do a good job. They were all part of the first one as well. And but the directors themselves are Joaquim Dos Santos and Ken Powers and Justin Thompson. The animation directors. Just to give them credit. I don't know who the fuck they are. But yeah, movie was fun. A lot of fun. If you could avoid annoying people at the theater, that's half the battle, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? It happens. As I said with this subject matter, I'm not like, I wasn't driving myself crazy. It didn't kill the movie for me, but I highly recommend this one. Also, fucking Burger King, and they've had this for the last few weeks, but I finally got one last night after I got home from a Mets game. They have a red Whopper, a red Spider-Man Spider-Verse Whopper. And Burger King I'm a sucker. Burger King every so often, they do some kind of burger and Whopper, and they change the bun color, and it's like I have to try them all. I just have to try them all because it's just something about the bun color. It's food coloring. It's whatever. They change the sesame seed color sometimes too. This one is red, a red bun with black seeds with Spider-Man, and then I think there's a different kind of cheese on it. There was like a white cheese instead of like cheddar cheese that a traditional Whopper has, but it was fucking delicious. I mean, it's basically a Whopper with a red bun. Nothing crazy. I had 2 of them myself. I went to the bathroom a couple times. Not to get into disgusting detail, but, I think I got most of the Spider-Verse burger out of my system now. Right before recording this podcast, I had to hit it up again, but yeah, go see Spider-Verse. Maybe sneak a red Burger King Whopper in there, Spider-Verse Whopper, and you'll enjoy the shit out of it, right? There's nothing better. Burger King did one years ago they did like an orange one. Oh, they did an orange one recently. There was a ghost pepper one, which was spicy. Fucked me up. It was a Halloween one. Then years ago, they did like a black one for Halloween. Then at one point there was a green one. I think one of them there was a white one. I don't even know if I had the white one, but there was one, I can't remember which color it was, but there was one that was like a nightmare Whopper, and apparently they put ingredients in there that have been tested to give you nightmares, which is probably bullshit, but I don't know. I mean, I had nightmares, like first-hand nightmares when I saw what came out of me and what colors came out of me. That was terrifying. That was like a real-life nightmare. But other than that, I don't know. Go check out Spider-Verse. It's going. It's going good. The movie's making a lot of fucking money, and rightfully so. And it ends on a good cliffhanger. I'm hyped for the next one. I'm excited how that's going to end. And yeah, cool animation style. That new Ninja Turtles animated movie that's coming out has a similar style that like Seth Rogen did, and that looks really cool too. It's a little bit like, when you first see it, it's a little bit jarring at first if it's the first time watching that kind of style, but like once you get into it, it's really cool. It's really something different, and like I said, it feels like it's lifted straight off the comic book page. But that's it. That's it, guys and gals. That's the episode for today. If this is the first time you're listening to the Movie Thoughts podcast, welcome. As I said, we do a lot of episodes. Go check out the other episodes. Check me out on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Dom Solo Reels, where I post some funny videos. I just did a little Whopper video last night as I was eating the Whopper, by the way, so that's on my TikTok and Instagram. Also, subscribe, rate, review. If you're enjoying this, give me a bad review. Maybe I'll read it. I don't know, whatever. I'll do it. I'll do it. That's my Stallone. Check out the It's a Long Road podcast, which is a Rambo podcast that I do with my friend Ryan, and we just dropped episode 3. And if you watch it on YouTube, I'm wearing a fucking Rambo wig, because that's how I roll, on a bandana, because I had to get into character for that podcast. But that's another fun podcast, also available on Spotify, iTunes, all that fun stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you soon.